Man, what's up, y'all? I know it's been a long minute. Uh, just been dealing with a lot of things, man. You know, hanging on to sobriety, dealing with some family, personal issues and stuff. But I was watching a podcast today on the Kevin Lanning show, Rise Above with Kevin Lanning, and he had this lady on. I think her name was like Catherine or SoCal Cat, man. Shout out to that lady, man. Man, her story, man, had me taking notes, man. And she was talking about making amends, and it hit me today. I'm getting better at it. You know what I'm saying? But it hit me today. You know what I'm saying, when my grandmother was passing. And growing up, I was my grandmother's favorite. Out of all her grandbabies, I was her favorite. My grandmother taught me a lot. And this was a couple years after my granddaddy had passed, and my grandmother decided she didn't want to do dialysis anymore. And I remember those words, man, that I've heard before, man, where she's like, "I'm just tired." I would do everything for my grandmother. Anytime, I would come over. "Hey, can you do this for me? Hey, can you fix this?" And at the time, she had two grown boys living with her. And this one time, I come home from work, because my son had to stay here, due to the school zones and stuff. And I was tired. I come in here just to pick up my son. She's like, "Hey, can you fix this for me?" And I lost my cool, man. I lost my temper, and I'm like, "Man, you got two grown men that stay here. Like, why can't you ask them?" She was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I won't ever ask you for nothing again." And my brother was always their caretaker. And when Grandma finally said, "Hey, I'm tired," that she's ready, I remember just sitting there just in silence, like, really? And my grandmother said, she said, "Andy, I'm sorry I asked so much of you." I'm sitting here thinking, and I'm like, that's really the only thing I can... That's really the only last thing I can remember her saying to me. And I remember at the time still feeling, truthfully, somewhat frustrated. Like, but I'm being respectful. I'm like, "No, Grandma, it's, I'm sorry, this and that, but a part of me feels like, man, maybe she died with a broken heart, At the time before my mom passed, my mom had relapsed again, and I think, man, maybe Grandma died of a broken heart. I'm thinking about that today. I wish I could have said more. I wish I could have righted that. And I guess the reason for making this video is watching that testimony today was a good reminder that, man, when you say something wrong and you do something wrong, man, genuinely, sincerely apologize as fast as you can. My grandma been gone for a couple of years now, and that's hit me. Just wanted to get that off my chest, I guess. That's all I got for you today.